Welcome to Wines and Makers. I'm Kevin. Today we're in the Dry Creek Valley at the Wilson Winery, visiting with Diane Wilson. Good morning, Diane.
Good morning.
Thank you for giving us some of your time. So your first vintage was 94, if I'm not
94.
mistaken?
Yeah.
Okay. And that was, what was that, like a 94 reserve cab?
It was 100% cab because that's all we had planted.
Right.
So it was all our own estate. So we planted our first 25 acres of cab out there, which, really looked at just what the market value of grapes and what was selling and what was doing well. And back in the 80s, cab was number one. So we brought our first 5 tons down to Rodney Strong, and Rick Sayer crushed, and we worked with them. And then we brought the wine, we brought the wine over and aged it and blended it and bottled it from here.
So you were pretty much Wilson Winery on Dry Creek Road until 2005.
And that's when
5 years
our
ago.
grape contract ended. And we went, if we can't sell these grapes, what are we going to do with these grapes? So Mazzocco came for sale, and we went, what a perfect place to make wine versus trying to custom crush
Right.
the all this tonnage that we now had.
Right.
And that was truly why we bought the winery, and it turned out to just be a beautiful facility, and it's turned into way more than we expected. Now it is known as much as Wilson for its small lots of single vineyard designate Zinfandel. Matrix was next. That was the old Rabbit Ridge, but we didn't get the name Rabbit Ridge.
Right.
They moved down south. So we just bought the facility and the land there and moved the Matrix line from Mazzocco, which was a second line over there.
Oh,
It was
interesting.
they did their Matrix, a Bordeaux blend,
Right.
and a Reserve Zin. So we moved those wines over and called.
So Matrix was acquired, and then moving into the fourth winery would be the Alexander Valley Winery.
That was last August.
Last summer. And what was the motive to acquire the Alexander Valley? Was it something to do with the land, the grapes over there, the designation, or was it just timing and the feel was there that you were kind of had the momentum going into growth mode, or
It was.
could you share with us?
That winery came for sale at the right price, and it was just a beautiful location, beautiful facility. The winery itself has a wonderful facility for making wine over there. So it all the factors went in. Plus it had Chardonnay and Sauv Blanc, which we didn't have any whites planted, so that gave another side to Wilson and Mazzocco, who really specialize in reds.
Right.
So it gave us an outlet to do some white wines over there.
And then the latest winery in the Wilson family wineries, Jepson, the newest,
Jepson,
like
yes.
this year.
Yes, that was just January.
We haven't been up there, but we understand it's a beautiful property.
It's a beautiful piece of property, and the brandy, has a full license for tasting brandy, making brandy with this huge, beautiful alembic French cognac still there. So that was really intriguing to do brandies and the possibilities of imports and doing the high grain alcohol that we're not allowed to do here. We're not permitted for.
Right.
And it's a beautiful piece of property, 1,200 acres of just beautiful land. 120, I think, are planted to vineyards.
Right. And what's mostly in the ground up there as far as vines are concerned? Is it a Rhone or is it a Cabernet Bordeaux?
There's Chardonnay, Sauv Blanc, Syrah, Zinfandel, Cab, I think. Oh, and there's Chenin Blanc, French Colombard that is used.
Interesting.
French Colombard is what is used to make cognac.
Oh,
Brandy.
really?
Yeah, that's the.
Well, that works out pretty well. It must have been why it was
That's
planted
why it was
then.
planted.
Unless it comes from way back in the early days.
So, and I think there may be Viognier planted also.
Wonderful.
I enjoy the actual hands-on making of the wine. That's my favorite part of the business. I enjoy the planning and some of the marketing But since we do everything direct from the winery, our marketing plan is fairly simple. It's really, it's running the tasting room. It's not, we
Right.
don't have this national sales force that we're trying to deal with, and you know, where we're trying to get our wines in. We have Dawn, who does our local Sonoma County restaurants and a few wine shops, but we're pretty much just out of the winery.
And
so.
your guests, club members are very important to us, or to you. It seems like you
They're-
really take care of them. We were noticing a shipment today going out, or that's ready for pickup, and they got nice handbags. I mean, it seems like just the facilities are really geared to accommodating people to have that quality getaway time and enjoy a glass
Yeah,
of wine.
we love our
country.
wine club. You know, they're our bread and butter. They're who we cater to.
Right.
You know, and they get special wines that are only offered to them. And if there's any left over, the public may get them. But
Right.
that's what we really specialize in at all our wineries is our wine club and small lots of special wine for them.
Well, it makes perfect good sense. We appreciate your working with wines and makers. We currently have a couple of your wines on the site, your '05 Bordeaux blend and your '06 Torrey Zin. Speak to about this wine, or is it a regular wine in the Wilson line of wines, if you will, an equal parts blend pretty much of Cabernet Sauvignon, Franc, and Merlot? You change it
You know,
year
it
in, year
changes
out?
every year. I
Right.
just sit and play with the wines we've got,
Right.
and every year it's sort of a different proportion of Cab to Merlot, Cab Franc.
Right.
I think this year when I put the blend together, we didn't have very much Cab Franc. It was a really light year for that, so there's going to be a smaller proportion of Cab Franc in
Right.
it.
And you, in your approach to winemaking, can you share any insight to us? Is it the quality fruit comes in and you let that fruit take its life and then start making decisions to the finished wine over the course of the maturation of the wine in the barrel or tank, or do you have a end wine in mind that you're looking for?
You know, it's truly the going out in the vineyard and making a decision when we bring those grapes in on the maturity and the flavors that we want. So that's what really starts and drives the wine from the beginning, are the grapes. From there, I do pretty much all native yeast, indigenous yeast that come in on it, so cold soak, and let them ferment. From there, I usually don't even, I taste them all along the way through there, and once we get them into the barrel, and then I like to give them 3 or 4 months and go back and taste them, and that's really when I sort of form an idea of what that wine is going to be in the future.
Right.
And I usually, 6 months before we start to bottle is when I start playing with different blends and putting together the wines, what will be the finished wines. I'm not doing that at the beginning. I
Right.
like to give them a little bit of time and see where they develop before I put together blends.
And the '08 vintage, how is that? I guess it's probably still a little early, but can you give us a call on?
It's a
It was an early and short one, wasn't
It
that?
was, and it's I have some amazing wines, and I have some wines that are going to be a little more work to blend and create nice, big, luscious wines, which is what our goal here is to have. We like big, fruit forward, soft, velvety mouth feel,
Right.
but with lots of flavor and lots of mouth feel.
Food wines, but certainly to enjoy just a glass of wine.
Yeah, probably more to just enjoy a glass of wine.
And age-worthy?
Pretty much.
Right.
The Zin's probably the least so. They tend to be the fruit forward,
Right.
higher alcohol. They don't lend themselves to laying down for years and years.
Right, right. Well, the Torrey Zin is the other one. I believe it's the '06. It's one of your vineyard designated. I presume it's 100% Zinfandel.
The Torrey's, lots of times I'll put 2 or 3% Petite Sirah in.
Okay.
It depends on the year. Every year is a little different of what's there. The Petite Sirah can lots of times just bring out a little extra middle and finish on it.
Right.
So it each year, each vineyard, take it year by year and figure out what it needs. But generally, I would say there's sort of that 2 to 4% Petite Syrah. in.
Syrah. Well, what are you really looking forward to? I have an idea, but in the winemaking, in your winemaking and in the coming years, it sounds like obviously every vintage is exciting, new, but it also sounds like this brandy may kind of have captured
The
your
brandy was pretty
sparkle or interest.
intriguing. It was-
Yeah.
yeah, to just be able to taste through some of these barrels are like, 15, 18 years old. To taste through the different brandies and putting together blends was kind of an exciting prospect. And doing, maybe a Grand Marnier style to do, Mendocino's known for its pears, maybe do like a pear brandy.
Wonderful.
I thought that was sort of a new fun challenge to do something up there.
Nothing like makes perfectly good sense. And then on your next day, make sure you take time to stop at the Wilson Winery at 1960 Dry Creek Road in the Dry Creek Valley. Thank you very much for your time today, Diane.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed the visit.
I
We know you're
enjoyed-
busy.
I am bottling today, so
Bottling today. There you have it. Thank you.
thank you.